All right, friends, welcome back to another episode here at The Growing Pro. Now, today I wanted to focus on new shooters. Whether you're a beginner, whether you're a newbie, whether you're just getting into cinematography, photography, hybrid, or content creation. And after being able to use all of the major camera brands, most of their flagships, with the exception of Hasselblad, which I've never used, as well as Leica, which I've never used, I've been able to experience all of the major brands pretty much in their best effort. I've been shooting professional photography, mostly in the way of headshots and model portfolio updates for many years. And I've been a Canon shooter for most of those years. But I started my entire film journey on Micro Four Thirds. I had a GH4, a G7, G85, then a G9, then I went to the GH5. The G9 was a great camera, but when it comes to photography, especially headshot work, I'm all full frame, unless it comes down to one other thing, which I will get into in a few minutes. Now, frankly, I loved the Micro Four Thirds mounts. I used my G7 daily on a gimbal. I used the G85 daily handheld, and I used the GH4 probably every other day or every few days. And I use the GH4 mostly for talking head work or studio work, but that was short-lived because then the GH5 was released. Now here's where I sold myself short. I really got to learn and love the Micro Four Thirds system for a lot of reasons, especially for portability. I got to know the GH4. I thought that camera shot way above its price range. It was a very capable camera, still is, even in 2025, frankly. But then I cut myself short by grabbing a Canon EOS R and a Sony a7 III. I quickly found out that the Sony menus did not flow with my brain, and although I loved the Sony image, I loved the Canon colors. So I was very much a Canon color science guy. Now, throughout that time, I've also always had Fujifilm cameras. And that's where my love for Fujifilm started, with this X-T1. I have absolutely loved and adored Fujifilm cameras. I have this X-T1, I've had two of them. I'm keeping this one forever, even though the EVF is green. It still works great in every other way, but photography only. There's clearly no capable video specs on an X-T1. Then I got two X-T2s. Loved them, sold them, got an X-T3, loved it, sold it. Then I got an X-H1. And that's where I really began to appreciate what Fujifilm brings to the table, especially in photography. Now, although the X-H1 was designed to be a video-centric camera, or at the very least, a very video-capable hybrid camera, I used my X-H1 mostly 90% of the time for photography. Now, this is not my original X-H1. I've been through two other ones, and this is my third, but I'm only down to this one specifically. And so that's where my first point comes in. If you are a hybrid shooter, if you're on a budget, if you're new and you just want to get started with something because, frankly, you don't know where it's going to head for you, where you're going to take it, I truly believe that even in 2025, the X-H1 is a brilliant hybrid camera. The video specs are more than sufficient when done right, when lit correctly, when utilized to its capabilities. But for photography, I absolutely love the X-H1. Now, I'll throw up a picture here that I shot with the X-H1 with the Fujifilm 56mm f1.2. Clearly, you can see by all of the background blur, I loved that lens. It was a beautiful lens. And frankly, anything that I paired with the X-H1, almost anything, let's say, gave me very pleasing results. But currently, I mostly stick to these Viltrox Pro lenses, and this is the 75mm f1.2, and I love this lens. So I'm not a huge 75mm guy. I stick to mostly 50mm and 35mm in full frame, but the 75mm Viltrox, especially this f1.2 Pro on an APS-C, has been just beautiful. Now, here is a picture that I shot with this combination. My previous X-H1 with this Viltrox 75mm. And I just absolutely adore the colorations, the fall off, and that's straight out of camera. There's no editing there. That is straight out of camera. And that's one reason why I love the Fujifilm X-H1, especially if you're new, just getting started. As a hybrid camera, the film simulations are more than sufficient to get you going, to even put out material to clients to get paid without having to get deep into color grading and editing and all of that. So with the X-H1, you can put out a great image, video, or photo and have to do very little to it. That is one of the biggest reasons why the X-H1 is my #1 recommendation for a new hybrid shooter or someone on a budget. Currently in 2025, you can find X-H1 body alone for $550 to $650, around there. I got this combination: body, battery grip, 3 batteries, and what I had been searching high and low for forever, the small rig cage that can also hold the body grip. Now, until I was able to finally find this cage, near impossible to find, worth its weight in gold, I put this together here. You can watch that video. Now, I am going to go further in depth in the details and specs, but now let's head over to the video side of things. As far as a video camera goes, if you're new to film, if you're just getting started in cinematography, and again, you don't know where you're going to go with it, you don't know if it's going to become something that you love or frankly just give up on, who knows. But also for new content creators, if you want a great image that is affordable, that gives you many options, that gives you stabilization, that gives you cinema files, that gives you so much in a cheap package, the GH5 is an amazing camera. Still, in 2025, when everybody else is saying that everything before AI-equipped gear is obsolete, the GH5 is absolutely more than sufficient for good quality content creation, for good quality client work. You have in-body variable frame rates, so you can shoot in-body slow motion. You can shoot Vlog L. I know it's not what everybody's favorite, but it's very easy to grade. It's easy on my computer. Or you can shoot the way that I do, which is mostly in the natural profile. And many of our recent videos have been shot with the GH5 in the natural profile, with very little color grading. I'm not a colorist, but I'm learning to get better at color grading. But I've also been paid for a lot of my work. So in that sense, I may not be the best out there, and I know that. I'm still learning. But I'm able to get paid for working. Now, a big part of the GH5 for me is content creation. The GH5 and this GH6 have replaced 2 Canon C200s for me. That's what I had most recently been using for the past 4 or 5 years. And before that, I had 3 Canon C100 Mark IIs, which are also beautiful and brilliant cameras. And as happy as I have been with those Canon cinema cameras, I really wanted to revisit the GH5. I felt like as a creator and as an artist, I wanted to get back to something that would push me to push my capabilities. I'm a single father of 6, and the kids are out there doing what they do, making noise and having fun. And my office in here is locked off, but I love hearing them have fun. Back to the GH5. The GH5 has so many hidden features that I think a lot of people don't even know about. So we'll get into some of those features in another video. But for today, I wanted to just let you know that as a content creator, as a full-time content creator, as a part-time videographer, cinematographer, filmmaker, I am working on multiple documentaries, but the GH5 is more than sufficient for that. And this tiny little kit right here, especially with my favorite lenses, which are the SLR Magic hyper primes. I've got the 25mm T0.95 here, which I shoot with a lot. And like I said on the GH6 shooting us now, I've got the 35mm hyper prime, which is considered more of their Cine 2 lens. Not their full cinema lens, but like kind of a miniature version, which I love. I absolutely love the SLR Magic lenses. So SLR Magic, if you're out there and you see this, yes, reach out to me, contact me. Let's put something together because I absolutely love your lenses. And just for fun, I kind of wanted to show you the difference between the XT1 with a battery grip and the X-H1 with a battery grip. Take a look at that. There's a pretty significant difference, but that's just fine. The XT1 is just a beautiful little, I guess, considered vintage camera now at this point, but I still love it. But the X-H1, frankly, is a camera that I love. I love the X-H1. This is a camera that I intend to always keep and never get rid of. Much like my very, very beloved little Lumix GH5. This little guy with the 12 to 32 pancake lens that I have on here, this is a brilliant little camera. Shoots in 4K, no mic jack, but for vlogging purposes, for quick little videos, especially when I'm out with my kids, this camera is awesome. I absolutely love it. And it's never going anywhere. I will probably die and say, put this in my casket with me. Throw it in my pocket. Because that's where it always is. All right, friends. So there is a very quick recommendation of what I think and believe would be your best first cinema-capable, video-centric camera. And what I also think is your best option for an affordable, hybrid, very capable camera. The X-H1 and the GH5 are two cameras that I truly think you can't go wrong with. And although there are people out there that utilize the GH5 as a hybrid camera, I wouldn't call it that at all. I do use mostly manual focus lenses only, but I still wouldn't shoot photo with the GH5. And that's even with utilizing my speed booster and my Sigma 18 to 35s. I'm still not going to use that for photo. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. What are your recommendations for first-time buyers or new shooters in the way of a video-centric camera and a hybrid camera? These are mine. All right, friends. Thanks for watching another video here at The Growing Pro, where we hope that sharing our learning process, the things that we have been through, been successful with, not been so successful with, will help you to kind of circumvent the process and get to a point where you're getting paid for your craft faster. All right, I'll catch you next video. Let's deal with the valley, the hills together.